White House and the European Union have made some regulatory moves when it comes to the largely unregulated world of crypto. How could these developments change the landscape for the industry? Who better than Adrian Brink of Anoma to chat all things disintermediation? Great to have you with us, Adrian.
Glad to be back.
Adrian, to kick it off, Joe Biden's executive order on digital assets is finally out, and there's numerous topics it covers, from mitigating systemic risk to ensuring global financial stability, among many others. Now, does the announcement change things materially for projects in existence and those that are being developed?
I think practically speaking, not a lot. I think all of us were quite happy when we read this because it doesn't say anything very specific. It says like we should look at the tech and we should understand what's going on. This is honestly a response you'd expect from any sort of reasonable government that doesn't want its financial system to fall over because some third party, whether this is crypto or another nation state, does something. Practically speaking, though, I think on the ground this changes very little. It's still mostly up to the SEC whether to prosecute American projects or not. So I still think that risk hasn't been cleared. The main thing around how do projects that are mainly US-based deal with regulations, that really hasn't been addressed, but maybe there's now a greater push for sort of resolving this a little bit.
The White House order also talks about coordinated action across American government agencies to tackle risks of illicit finance. Now, can government bodies really exert control over disintermediated financial systems?
For one, it's obviously much harder in some ways to insert influence over these systems, but in other ways it's much easier because they're completely transparent and trackable on chain right now. And because they're not really yet integrated with real world economies, you always have to have the fiat on and off ramps. The big thing though is pretty much all Western governments are already failing at preventing the existing financial system being used for illicit finance. I mean, the Mexican drug cartels are famous for using HSBC or Danske Bank or Bank of America to launder billions of dollars for their purposes. There's really, if you want to do illicit things, there's no need to use crypto. The existing financial system is just so much better at helping you out in this case than crypto could ever be. And since the sort of centralized governments can't really do anything about this, it seems, I have a hard time seeing how they're going to be very effective in implementing policies that prevent this in the cryptocurrency space.
And lastly, over in Europe, a proposal focusing on energy consumption by proof-of-work currencies could have halted the use and trading of some of the biggest crypto out there, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. While this has been shut down for now, do you see an eventual shift to proof-of-stake or other energy-friendly protocols?
There is absolutely need for a proof-of-work chain, I think, in the long term, because it provides a very different security guarantee than a proof-of-stake system does. I'm not saying that everything should be proof-of-work, but there's probably room for a couple of proof-of-work chains. The other thing is, this is Europe, and as most European policy, it's completely uncooked and badly thought out, because you've kind of got to ask yourself the question, right? Once Ethereum switches to proof-of-stake, our early Ether mined under proof of work now ineligible for trading, are new ones eligible for trading? How does this actually play out in practice? Pretty much my advice to most regulators in this sense is let the market determine it. Don't try to sort of say this is an acceptable use case for energy and this isn't an acceptable energy use case. Very much focus on how do we produce clean energy and not what are we allowed to spend energy on. Oh, maybe also the last thing here is the energy consumption by proof-of-work mining is negligible and has zero significant impact on global climate change. And we should just all remember this, that sort of the biggest contributor is probably global shipping, and no one seems to be too concerned about doing anything about this. And it gets you nice brownie points as a politician if you think about these things, but practically speaking, it does nothing to save the planet.
Well, focusing on clean energy production is the critical need of the hour. Adrian Brink, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.